we'll figure. I thought this was an announcement. Yeah. Hey. Got 1 minute.
This meeting has been called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Home News Tribune, Star Leisure, and the Highland Park Planet on January 4th, 2023, and has been posted on the Borough website at www.hpborough.com and on the bulletin board of Borough Hall at 221 South 5th Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to my right and left of the council chambers. If you come up to speak, please speak into the microphones. As mayor, I preside over the council meetings and may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement or participation in the meeting if the participant's statement does not adhere to the 3 minutes provided to each participant for public comments, or if the participant is disruptive to the orderly conduct of the public meeting, is disruptive or not on topic that is relevant to the borough governing body. Lieutenant Hamill, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Foster,
Yes.
Councilwoman Canavera,
Yes.
Councilman George, Councilman Hale,
Here.
Council President Hirsch,
Here.
Councilwoman Kim Chohan,
Here.
Councilperson Postelnick,
Here.
Borough Attorney Schmier,
Here.
Borough Administrator Hover.
Here.
And Councilmember George is out tonight. Any questions? Any question on the council agenda questions by council members? Seeing that there is none. Now we're going to go to honors and awards. Proclamation recognizing the retirement of Lieutenant Thomas Hamill. And it reads, whereas the borough range of essential services to our community and visits dependents and reflect on the integrity decision of a long-standing commitment to the borough staff, provide members with services each day. Whereas Lieutenant Hamill has served with distinction as a member of the Highland Park Police Department since he was first sworn in as an officer on January 20th, 1989. In those 25 years, he has risen in the ranks and have served as patrol officer, patrol sergeant, and patrol lieutenant. In this last role, he has supervised the patrol division and the records department. Whereas Lieutenant Hamill brought a deep connection of knowledge to Highland Park and Middlesex County to work with Highland Park Police Department. His father, Jack, a U.S. Navy veteran, worked as a police officer in Highland Park for 8 years, then moved to work with the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office until his retirement in 1994. His mother, Hannah, grew up in Edison and worked for Revlon. Thomas Hamill grew up in Highland Park and graduated from Highland Park High School in 1992. He graduated from the New Jersey State Police Academy class 197 in May of 1998. Also received an associate degree from Middlesex County College in May 1997. Whereas Lieutenant Hamill, known throughout the borough by his colleagues and many residents for his graciousness, approachability, and professionalism. He is an exemplary officer who served as a tribute to Highland Park's Police Department. The borough proudly acknowledges his stellar record, and it notes his plans to retire at the end of March. Whereas we agree that Lieutenant Hamill has earned the right to claim more than family ties. His wife Helen, also a Highland Park High School graduate of class of 1992, daughter Caitlin and son Justin, the family lives in North Brunswick, which we point out is only a short distance away from Highland Park. So we hope to see Mr. Hamill in our town as a civilian in civilian clothes, of course, on a different occasion on different occasions throughout the years ahead. We also look forward to hearing reports of this avid fisherman latest conquest, as well as the occasional tale of the big struggle of the one that got away. Now, therefore, I, Elsie Foster, Mayor of the Borough of Highland Park, thank you, Lieutenant Hamill, on behalf of the Borough and the Borough Council as a whole, for your inevitable record of service to Highland Park. We truly miss your thoughtfulness, charm, and amusing presence in our borough. Thank you. We have a proclamation for you. Would you like to come up with the family?
Mayor, can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
I've known Lieutenant Hamill for 20 years now. Since the day I started here, he was one of the senior officers that we worked with. He mentored me when I was a junior officer, he was senior. When I was a patrolman, he was a sergeant. When I was a sergeant, he was a lieutenant. Recently,
Chief, can you use the mic?
yeah, I can. Recently, so 4 years ago, there was a change, and I became chief, and Lieutenant Hamill remained as lieutenant. And I didn't realize how much of an impact he did until I saw the work Tommy had to do from above him and not below him. I took it for granted when I was a sergeant. I took it for granted when I was a patrolman. I took it for granted when I was a lieutenant. When I became chief and I saw how much he did for our department, how he poured his heart and soul into it, it changed things for me. And I really took a new appreciation to his professionalism. And I want to thank Tommy for 25 years of excellent work. I want to thank him most especially for the last 5 years. And I want to tell his family I'm very jealous. You get to spend all this time with him now, and I don't. So thank you, Tommy. Can I bring my family up here? I obviously couldn't have done this without the love and support of my family throughout all these years. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you,
And we want to see that big fish, okay? The big catch. The next on the agenda is going to be we also have a proclamation for the Stop and Shop employees, and I'm going to read it and we'll have them to hand out at a later time. And it says, whereas the Borough of Highland Park are very attached to their hometown grocery store, which has been a reliable source in our town for many decades. And many residents have expressed the dismay of hearing the news this past summer and fall that Stop and Shop was planning to close here in Highland Park in March. Whereas the mayor and the borough council are working diligently to actively explore many different possibilities to attract another grocery store to Highland Park. On that, we'll set up roots in our town and bring them, and we will hope to bring them soon as possible. Whereas the residents of Highland Park are particularly fond and grateful to the hardworking associates of Stop and Shop who stack shelves, provide service to deli counters, refresh and arrange produce on shelf, check out aisles and provide assistance to courtesy counter, receive deliveries, and assist with the operations of the store. Whereas the borough and the residents of Highland Park, mayor and council recognize that Guy and Chris in the meat department, Kenny in the receiving, Wayne and Daryl are, and Jan in dairy, Maurice in frozen food, Bob and Kim and Daryl M, and Joe A, and Terry in deli, Olivia in bakery, Holly, click and collect, Michael and Juan and Jeremy and Tim in groceries, Tony, Doris, Chad, and Joe M, and Calvin and Jonathan in produce, Granana in HBC, Elaine in file and maintenance, Bobby and David and Anthony A, and Solomon and importer, Paula and Miss Tony and Andrea and Simone and Melly, Monty and Monica and Giovanni and Sheila and Giovanni and Rose and Anthony L and Nathan and Megan and Tracy and Carla and Sarah and John in the front end department, Jonathan P, the closing department, and manager Katie and Lauren. We are grateful for the years of service to our town, for your consistent friendliness and dedication to serving the community in need. Whereas as we wish for all the Stop and Shop associates the very best in their future endeavors, and to find in their way and for us to find a supermarket so they can come back to Highland Park soon. I, Elsie Foster, Mayor of the Borough of Highland Park, extend our collective gratitude to the Stop and Shop Highland Park for your kindness to the people of Highland Park. Thank you all. And I'll report on that. I will have these proclamations to hand out. Thank you. Now we move on to the approval of minutes.
We don't have any.
Okay. Council reports. And now we move on to Council Member Kim Cho-han.
Yes. Let me just open my phone. Good evening, everyone. The Community Development Block Grant Program, aka CDBG Committee, met last week to hold their public hearing for applications, which is on the agenda tonight for a vote. The applications that will be moving forward is as follows. Highland Park Community Food Pantry, $3,000. The Summer Camp Program, this total compiles of $8,000 as well. That's from HP Gives a Hoot. $20,000. Department of Aging Senior Outreach, $13,000. Community Youth Outreach Programs, $13,445. Senior Transportation, $15,000. The Teen Center Keyless Entry, this is to put them on the same kind of, I guess, scope as our locks and system here as the borough and all of our other borough buildings have. Right now, I think it's a physical key, and that's like not the best solution for a high traffic area like the Teen Center. $5,000. Molly Mock Graft Park Improvements, $7,000. This is a new application for this year. I know there's been many discussions around improvements in that park, in that area. So those are the applications that will be submitted to the county for CBDG funding for this year. On another note, in light of recent events surrounding the financial services sector, I wanted to provide a level of comfort to our residents regarding the borough's funds. The recent bank failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank are concerning, but residents should understand that our municipal bank deposits are protected. As you know, the federal government provides insurance on deposits through the FDIC, up to $250,000 per account. New Jersey has taken this a step further. The Governmental Unit Deposit Protections Act, also known as GUPTA, is a supplemental insurance program created by the New Jersey legislature to protect the deposits of local governments. The program covers school districts as well as municipalities and public funds in excess of the FDIC insured amount that are protected by GUPTA. Municipalities are required by law to deposit their funds in banks that participate in the GUPTA program. How are the assets protected? As part of the program, each bank that participates in the GUPTA must pledge additional collateral. If the collateral is not enough, other institutions holding public funds would be assessed. While the protections are not a 100% guarantee of the safety of the municipal funds, it is important to note that no governmental unit has ever lost protected deposits under GUPTA. In addition to GUPTA, we have adopted a strict cash management plan that adheres to state statute. And this is resolution number 1-23-10 from our 2023 reorganization meeting. Lastly, today is Equal Pay Day, an annual observance that symbolize the ongoing issue of pay disparity and the wealth gap between men and women. The date itself symbolizes how far into the year must women work to make as much as men during the previous year. Let's continue to raise awareness together. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Hale.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to begin by saying thank you to everybody who attended our recent community meeting about Stop and Shop. We had about 100 people attend, and we had a lot of really great conversations at the meeting. Our intention was to outline and talk about a redevelopment plan proposed for Stop and Shop. If you are interested and were unable to attend the meeting, I encourage you to take a look at it at the YouTube channel for hptv15. There's the entire program is there. And also, of course, look at the borough website for a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, as well as the FAQ about Stop and Shop. But I really wanted to spend some time saying thank you to everybody for the conversations that we had about that. And then I'm not going to go over all of the different ideas or were brought together. I'm trying to lump them into sort of some categories that burbled up and the notes that council members took and all of the questions that we had. Obviously, the most important point that was raised is get us a supermarket and get us a supermarket fast. That was clearly number one, number two, and number three of the issue. We've heard that again. But there were some other things that people wanted to make sure that we were aware of and working on to take care of during the closure. One of them was to think creatively about ways of using the lot during the closure. So we had suggestions about bringing in different ways of providing food within the lot itself, things like more farmers markets, additional food trucks, maybe pop-up markets, and additional places for pickup and drop-off of food. We've been in regular contact with the owners about how those things might work. Obviously, there's a lot of sort of insurance, liability, safety, power needs of that, but we certainly did hear that what can we do with the space on a temporary basis, and we'll be working on different plans as those develop. The second big area that we heard at the meeting was about transportation from Highland Park to supermarkets. I'm going to let my colleague, Jason Postelnak, talk a little bit about that during his report, as we have a great plan that was developed by our rec supervisor, Kim McGraw. So I'm going to let him go through the majority of that. Our primary focus has continued to go with ongoing discussions with the property owners. Our professional staff has been meeting almost weekly with the property owners to sort of keep the lines of communications going and the ball rolling towards the supermarket. And we're making sure that we're all on the same page and all want to make that happen. These discussions have remained productive, and we're hopeful to present some details on the specifics of the redevelopment plan soon. Once that happens, the redevelopment plan will go to the planning board, and then it will come back to us. And at all those meetings, there'll be opportunities for people to comment on what's in the redevelopment plan for Stop and Shop. So with that, I just have two quick things that are non-Stop and Shop news. First of all, as we move towards spring, I want to remind everybody that the Vio scooters are going to be coming out of hibernation and coming back from their winter nesting grounds. We've had we don't have a specific date yet, but we're meeting with them later this week to discuss that. And just to remember that the VO riders and the public, they can be a little tentative when they come back out of hibernation. So please be careful when you see scooters, and don't get too excited with them. You don't want to spook the scooters or the scooter people as they come back. So just remember that it's coming back soon. And then lastly, as always, please visit Main Street Highland Park for a listing of their upcoming winter markets. They have mini markets going throughout. So please check mainstreethp.org for all those details. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't scoop the scooters. Councilmember Canavera.
Thank you. I want to wish all my fellow social workers, especially our town social worker, Nicole Huff, a very happy Social Worker Month. Nicole provides outstanding service to our community and goes above and beyond every day with our residents. The Board of Health would like to remind everybody that in Middlesex County, New Jersey, community levels are low for COVID, the flu, and RSV. Stay up to date on your vaccinations, including recommended boosters. Avoid contact with people who have suspected or confirmed COVID. Follow recommendations for isolation if you have suspected or confirmed COVID. And follow the recommendations for what to do if you are exposed to someone with COVID. If you're at high risk of getting sick, talk to your healthcare provider about additional preventive actions. The Human Relations Commission is looking for more members. Anyone interested can fill out a volunteer form on the website. Food insecurity is still, unfortunately, very high. We have 2 programs to help. The Community Food Pantry, open the second and fourth Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 9:30 to 10:30, following the second and third Thursday of every month. Donations can be made using their Amazon wish list. Highland Park Gives a Hoot has a food pantry every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Donations can be made by mailing a check to the Borough Hall with a memo that says it's for Highland Park Gives a Hoot. Due to the rising food costs and the fact that SNAP benefits have been cut back, there's a bigger demand than ever. So please consider giving if you can. The Mental Health Commission wants to remind everybody, if you are in crisis, please reach out for help. Rutgers University Behavioral Healthcare Hotline is 855-515-5700. Raritan Bay Medical Center Hotline, 732-442-3794. Or you can always text HOME, HOME, to 741-741 to reach a crisis counselor at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Pasternak. Jason?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Just following up on what my fellow councilman Matt Hale was just mentioning about the community services food shopping assistance. Stop and Shop is closing this Thursday, regrettably. Excuse me. So I just wanted to first highlight some of the assistance that will be available through the Department of Community Services. First off, transportation to grocery stores will be available on weekdays as well as some weeknights and weekends. And second, the department is going to be providing some online food shopping support to anyone who needs it. For the transportation schedule or answers to any question about the available food shopping assistance, please call the department at 732-819-0052. And the transportation schedule will also be available on the Highland Park Department of Aging's Facebook page. And other community services highlights, I just wanted to note that this coming Tuesday, March 21st, there'll be a community health fair from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the community center. Services that will be offered include COVID-19 vaccines and boosters, blood pressure and blood sugar screenings, and family planning resources. For more information, call that same number. The fine folks down at the Department of Community Services will be happy to help. That number again is 732-819-0052. Next, I have some summer camp updates. So summer camp registration is open for the day camp, sports, and theater camps. And summer seasonal job opportunities at these fine camps are also available. Please visit the Highland Park website for the registration and job application details, or call the Community Services Department, or stop by at the community center to get more of that information. Last on the community services list of highlights is the leprechaun hunt is still underway. So find leprechauns hidden all around town until March 17th. And please keep an eye on our Facebook and Instagram, on Highland Park's Facebook and Instagram pages for clues. Then I have a couple of arts highlights. There is a paint and sip fundraiser that's going to be held at Pino's on Sunday, March 26th from 12 to 4 p.m. The fundraiser is to support Project Graduation, which will provide our graduating seniors with a safe celebration to attend. And art instruction will be led by the Highland Park Arts Commission's own Sonia Elefante. And then related to the Highland Park Arts Commission, they just recently concluded a short story contest, which was held from midnight through noon the next day. I think we got about 45 entries with ages of the authors ranging from 5 to the late 80s. And just to note that, so that is already done. Winners will be announced soon, and there will be an ebook available to all with all the stories in it. And the commission hopes to also organize a reading soon with the whole town invited, so stay tuned for more details on that. I'll be sure to report that once we get that. And then lastly, please stop by the library to check out some adorable clay betta fish in bowls that were made by the Guerrilla Art Club. So the Guerrilla Art Club kids made these to raise awareness about how the bowls that these betta fish are typically kept in are way too small for them. So it's really, I was able to check them out myself. They're very cute. So please stop by the library and check them out. And that is all I have for today. My first report. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's too much.
Now there's a quiz. If we catch the leprechaun, where do we get our pot of gold?
Contact him at the Community Services Department.
Okay. Council President Hirsch.
Thank you, Mayor Foster. Thank you, Councilman Postelnik. That was a fun report, and I'm always wary about hunting for leprechauns. I feel that I'd rather just kind of bring them in. But anyway, just a few items as chair of the Department of Public Works, or chair of the Public Works Committee. Last year, the borough received a $10,000 grant from Sustainable Jersey and PSE&G to install a rain garden at the library, which Jason was just talking about. We've been working with Rutgers on the rain garden design, and the Department of Public Works will do the site prep, and we will use volunteers for the plant installation on a community planting day. The site prep will be on May 3rd through May 5th, and the community planting day will be Saturday, May 6th from 9 a.m. to noon. The whole project will be done in time for Earth Day on Sunday, May 7th, which is very exciting. Rutgers will be on site to manage the volunteers and planting along with library and borough staff. And hope you and perhaps your kids can make it. The library will begin recruiting volunteers in late March. So we will let you know when the recruitment process begins, and there will be more to come on this. Just a quick update because as a tireless advocate for the committees that I am liaison to, the Park Partners voting will take place on Sunday, March 26th. I'm sure the mayor is going to say something about that. And I did just want to point to the fact that so many of our boards and commissions have submitted on their own some really innovative projects. No favoritism here, but I did just want to point to what. Okay, all right. They have all really done and just an amazing job thinking outside the box, really taking advantage of the challenge, knowing that they have resources, they're borough boards and commissions, but to take that extra step, think outside the box, it's very exciting. The Environmental Commission is doing a series of cleanups. You may not know this, but the Environmental Commission hosts pretty much weekly cleanups at different areas around the borough. And cleanups for the remainder of March, April, and the first half of May have been scheduled. You can see the most up-to-date schedule on hptv15.com. And as other cleanups are planned, they're taking feedback on volunteers, folks who want to adopt a block. Just a couple of the most upcoming ones. Sunday, March 19th, this cleanup will take place at the Highland Park Ecology. The trail along Raritan River, parallel to South Adelaide Avenue, at 10 a.m. to noon. We'll meet at the trailhead at the intersection of Valley Place and South Adelaide Avenue. Then on Saturday, April 1st, again, another Sustainable Highland Park organized cleanup. This will take place at the wooded area at the bottom of South 7th, adjacent to the meadows, 10 a.m. to noon, and we'll meet at the intersection of South 7th and Donaldson Street. And then just generally speaking, I did just want to kind of echo Councilman Hale's sentiments on the Stop and Shop Forum. I thought it was a really powerful in-person kind of community engagement event to hear feedback and to hear about folks' concerns and trepidation about this important institution leaving town. I am extremely nervous about Stop and Shop leaving town. I mean, we have to be resolute, and we have to create a clear-eyed plan moving forward on how to address this. But that doesn't mean that we're not concerned and worried and are attached sentimental, have sentimental attachment to Stop and Shop. A filmmaker in town here, John Hulme, is making a documentary on Stop and Shop, and put a call out for some photos, and it just had me going through my phone and looking at my kids who are now 7, 12, and 14 when they were 7 months, 12 months, and 14 months at Stop and Shop. So we really do feel it, and we also feel the positive energy when the community comes together to address a big problem. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Administrator report.
Yes, Mayor, just really briefly. I first want to just take a little second to also acknowledge Lieutenant Hamill's service. I really appreciate the proclamation and the Chief's remarks, and I just want to wish him well in his future endeavors. And it was really fun to get to see his family and put the puzzle pieces together, having heard all their stories from all their vacations and things like that over the years. So I wish him well, and I look forward to his send-off in style. Did want to highlight the fact that amongst other items on the agenda, there is an item for a shared service agreement with Middlesex County's Fire Marshal. And that's, I'm pleased to report, is a continuation of what's been a good partnership for 10 years. And we're going to be renewing that arrangement, essentially establishing them as our official fire official for the borough, doing fire inspections and fire protection activities for us, as well as many other things. We benefit from the marshal's support beyond the specifics of the fire official's duties. So I'm excited that's on the agenda tonight, and I thank you for putting it on there. And I just wanted to remind the public that we're on track for budget introduction on April 4th. At that meeting, we're having a budget working session next Tuesday, and I will do my now traditional presentation at introduction on the 4th, and I look forward to that as well. So that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Borough Attorney's report.
No report, Madam Mayor.
Okay. I'll start off with St. Patrick's Day. Today I went to a luncheon at the Senior Center, and they had a lovely St. Patrick's Day luncheon with Gaelic music and the whole nine. It was really nice. And one of the things that I spoke to them about is that we're fast approaching the end of free COVID test kits. And I expressed to them that they should try to get as many of these test kits as possible because they are entitled to 8 per month. So before you have to start actually paying for them, I said, please go out and get these kits. Okay, now we're back to Stop and Shop. And that has been my mantra ever since I took over the seat, and just constantly working on a daily basis. And people say, when people see me now, they're like, no, Elsie, I don't know anybody who want to bring a supermarket, but I don't get tired of asking anybody I meet about any possibility that they may know of someone who want to move to Highland Park and open up a supermarket, because we're in great pain without our Stop and Shop. So the borough recognized, we're going to do a borough recognized Stop and Shop send-off and at the closing on March 16th. We're asking each borough resident to come out and to help us create an applause line as the workers leave Stop and Shop for the last time. And this will be on Thursday at 6 p.m. So we're asking you to come out to the parking lot. We'll have placards and want to give them a heartfelt thank you for their service, a heartfelt thank you for everything that you have done for our town, and that we will miss you. And we hope that we'll get a supermarket back real soon. Anyone who's interested in joining our heartfelt thank you can RSVP to Harry, our PIO, at hglazer@hpborough.com. So we want to get a kind of a number of who's going to be there. So reach out to Harry at hglazer@hpborough.com. Hope to see you all there to give them a much heartfelt thank you for their services. In response to, I have received many response, many. And I can't say many enough about our hybrid meeting. So in response to the hybrid meeting and the topics that the borough is planning to move to implement a hybrid council meeting will be in person. Council meetings will be in person, but will offer a courtesy option, the ability to watch and participate in meetings remotely. We will launch the new option once we resolve our procedural issues, as well as address some technological needs and that are unique to our meeting space. I want to thank you for reaching out to me with your inquiries, and we continue to encourage your civic engagement and as you get involved in Highland Park. So coming soon, as we work through all the kinks, we will be going hybrid. But we will miss you. We want you to come out to the meetings because it's going to be sad for us to be here by ourselves. So we want you to be in person as well. And I know my colleague touched on the Park Partners Grant. And Park Partners Grant 2023 will be here soon. The proposals are in. We intentionally make it that you have to come out on Sunday, March 26th from 1:30 to 3:30 to participate. And it's going to be at the community center. So if any of you who have submitted your proposal, we have 10 groups that submitted proposals. And they're great proposals, as Matt says. So come on out, hear about the other person's proposal, and hopefully you'll be some of the winners. So you won't know unless you come out and participate. So we're giving out, there'll be 5 winners. And each of these winners will receive up to $2,000 for their project. So come on out, see how you do with your Park Partners Grant, and see how it will enrich our entire community. On Friday, March 10th, I met with Dr. Cliff Lacey, the chair of the Mayor's Wellness and Medical Advisory Team, to plan ahead. In 2 short months, the likely impact of Highland Park federal government plan to lift the public health emergency for COVID-19 on May 11th will result in the cost of residents costs to residents for both COVID-19 tests and vaccines, unless your insurance company agrees to cover them. A broad disenrollment from Medicaid that will affect hundreds of thousands of people in New Jersey. To the end of the regulation that will allow people to use telehealth options to secure prescription and to consult out-of-state healthcare providers. We will monitor how these changes is going to unfold, and we will keep you abreast and keep us all informed. But as I had said earlier, you seniors over the age of 62 are entitled to 8 COVID kits per month, so I would encourage you to get as many of those kits as possible. That's my report, and now we're going to go on to our public participation of the meeting. And I just want to go over this again. It is now time for public discussion, a total of 21 minutes, 3 minutes maximum per speaker. Comments are limited to items on the agenda. If you want to speak on an item that is not listed, please do so at the second comment session later in the meeting. The borough clerk will monitor the time and indicate when 3 minutes has elapsed. She will give a warning of 30 seconds remaining, and there will be a hard stop at 3 minutes to mark and ensure that everyone has a chance to speak. As a reminder, I may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant statement if it does not adhere to the 3 minutes provided. If the statement is disruptive to the orderly conduct of public meetings and does not adhere to the relevant topic of the borough's governing body. Please announce your name as you come up to speak and speak into the microphone. So you have 3 minutes. Seeing that there's no public comment, we're going to go on to ordinance reading. Oh.
Thank you. And I also wanted to comment on just that I was really happy to see how much turnout we got a few weeks ago as well, and just wanted to give the suggestion that, seeing as turnout is less good today, to maybe publicize that information as well through things like the Instagram or Facebook page about the Borough Council meeting, like the times that it's happening. Even on the agenda notes, it doesn't list where the council meeting is happening. So I just wanted to note that. And Councilperson Postley, I just wanted to ask, do you know when the schedule is due to go out for the shuttle?
There may be an updated schedule that is coming out, I think, starting next week, following the closure. I did see on the Facebook page, I think there's days set for, maybe, I don't know, Terry, if you happen to know offhand. I think there was already 2 or 3 days set for this week. One may have passed, I think it may have been Monday, and there might be one on Friday. But I would call that number, and I can read that again if you'd like, but just pull that back up.
Excuse me, may I have your name and address?
Yes, sorry, my name is Jacob Moffett, and I live at 42 Lincoln Avenue, apartment 6.
Thank you.
I closed my notes, I'm sorry.
I could read it for you.
Oh, thank you.
Because I wrote it down when you said it.
And this information is also available on the borough website as well, and our Facebook page.
732-819-0052. There is information up on our website. The schedule is we're going to learn based on utilization, so it's not going to be like an NJ Transit schedule. It leaves at this and that. But there's also numerous flyers we are promoting across all of our outlets, including, physically in the kiosks as it evolves. So we're refining that material and the schedules as they go. But your best bet, if it's not clear, is to dial that number, and there's always someone there who will walk you through what to do.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and again, it was the Department of Aging Facebook page
yes.
that also had it posted.
Got it. All right.
The Highland Park Department of Aging.
So I had a friend who wasn't able to make it out today, but she wanted to ask, is it possible for the town or the county to provide any incentives to other stores in the area, like the Rite Aid or possibly Park Deli, to help provide produce or other necessities that are difficult to get while there's no grocery store?
So I can address that a little bit. So we've been talking. I'm sorry. I apologize, Mayor. didn't mean to jump. We have been talking to Park Deli and Krausers and Quick Check and all of those about, and also Glot 27, which is a supermarket, a smaller one, but in town, about increasing their supplies of basics and trying to do their best to sort of fill in a gap as well. So we've had those discussions, and those are ongoing as well.
And just to add to that, I noticed that at Krausers, they're having much more dairy and produce products. So they're aware, and people are providing more of those services on their own. They just stepped up and started doing that, which is awesome.
That's great to know, yeah. No, and that's the thing that I think a lot of residents are just very worried about is for people that don't have a car, it can be really difficult, outside of maybe going to New Brunswick or farther down Route 27. I wanted to ask if there were any rough timelines about redevelopment plans or ideas about how long, just the roughest estimate possible,
30 seconds.
there won't be a grocery store in Highland Park.
We're actively, there's two persons I'm going to ask to answer that question. But we're, as I said before, we're constantly working on getting someone here that's going to fit our needs. But I'm going to, Councilmember Hale?
So the process for a redevelopment plan is that our professionals put together an outline of it. First, we first had to go to the planning board to say, can we do this? They said yes. Then the professionals put together a plan for this, and that's a technical plan that puts on bulk standards, and that's a fair heavy lift to try and make sure that the heights and the weights and all of those things are together. That comes back to the council. We're hoping that's going to be relatively soon in the next couple council meetings. After that, it goes to the planning board, and the planning board has an opportunity to review that, and then it comes back to council for council to have a review. All of those are going to have public hearings about them, public information about them, the outlines of those plans. People will be able to comment on that, and then the plan is adopted. And once the plan is adopted, then the sort of negotiations with the property owners and others about who might go there sort of can begin in earnest, because we've provided the picture frame about what might be able to go at Stop and Shop. So it does take some time to make sure that we do those technical components correctly, and that what we're able to offer as a result through the redevelopment plan is something that will encourage everyone to bring a supermarket as fast as possible.
Council, our administrator and our redevelopment director, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that was a good overview of how the plan gets adopted, but I guess the other thing I would add, the plan as we presented at our community meeting the other day has a range of scenarios that could happen, and what we're learning through our study of the property as well as from the feedback we're getting from potential operators of grocery stores is the building also does need significant, if let's say someone wanted to go back into that building, the odds are, so we're looking at months, assuming all the steps go forward as quickly as Councilman Hale indicated, assuming if it's a rehab of the existing building, it's a significant amount of lead time to get that up and running. So I guess it's impossible to give you a real timeline outside of the things we control, which are the procedural things. But I just want to we're trying to give people realistic feedback that we're looking at a minimum of 6 months to, anywhere from there out, depending on how complicated the project gets.
Thanks for your time.
Please state your name. Could you bring the microphone down for her? Okay. Oh, cool.
Good evening.
Please state your name and address.
Yes. Angela Perone, 242 South 6th Avenue. I just want to say the presentation a couple of weeks ago was great. I proposed the question to the developer, the architect, approximately how long would this take? He said 6 months. I could see it in 6 months. I'm hoping it's in 6 months, but I believe it's going to take a little longer than that. My question is, did you look in to bringing in possibly a trailer of sorts with maybe fresh produce, milk, and things like that, that would help us in the interim.
Yes, we did, but I'm going to let Councilmember Hale answer that question because he alluded to it earlier.
So all options are on the table, and so one of the things that I think is important to recognize is that it's a partnership that we're working with the property owner on what's possible, what's able, what's safe, what's legal on the site. And so we do think that there's an opportunity to have a number of stopgap measures that might be able to happen. I mentioned food trucks. I mentioned additional farmers market opportunities, pop-up shops, those types of things that might help mitigate the gap that we're going to see. But it is, again, it's a process to make sure that that's done safe, legally, and all of that. So.
And just to add that we will be reporting just about every council meeting on the progress of where we are. So we will keep everyone abreast of how we're doing or how we're not doing, because we could be doing great and we could not be doing great, but we want to keep the process honest and have honest responses. So we'll keep you up to date as we move ahead, and hopefully we'll have this done in short order. No additional public comment? Okay, now we're going to go to number 12. Ordinance requires second reading. Clerk.
An ordinance amending and supplementing the Code of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 380, Taxi Cab Fares, was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was also posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
A public hearing? Motion to adopt or reject?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
Ordinance requiring first reading.
Ordinance number 23-2068, calendar year ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14, has been introduced in writing by the Finance Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
Clerk, please report an introduction of ordinance number 23-2068.
I just did.
Oh, you did. Sorry. Sorry. Motion. Sorry. Motion.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
Ordinance number 23-2069, ordinance amending supplement to the Code of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 7, Traffic, Schedule X, Stop Intersection.
An ordinance amending and supplementing the Code of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 7, Traffic, Schedule X, Stop Intersections, has been introduced in writing by the Public Safety Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
Motion?
To approve or reject. Set
Motion
public
to
hear-
approve or reject?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
Resolution required a separate reading. 14A-23-82, resolution to amend 2023 municipal treasury temporary budget, municipal temporary budget.
Motion
To adopt or reject?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
Okay. And now, then we go to the consent agenda.
Oh, we got one more.
Oh, one more. Oh, 14B, 23-30 3-23-82, resolution to amend Resolution 2-23-52, 2003 standing committees. Motion to reject or adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
Now we move to the consent agenda. We need to table 15J. Okay, so we're going to table 15J. What's the motion to table?
Motion to table?
Motion to table 15J.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda resolution. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the following consent agenda 15A minus J through M? Roll call.
I need a motion.
Oh, motion?
Motion.
Second.
Now roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes to all except for 15H. I'm going to abstain because my family benefits from some of the services that are going to be receiving funds.
Oh, okay.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes. We are very happy that you're here advocating for use of those funds, and I agree with you. But I feel that your advocacy means that we should all be the benefactor of these things. So your humility is really inspiring, Councilwoman, because this is a really important program. So yes, of course.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
Resolution requires separate reading. 16A 3-23-97, resolution to approve budget transfer. Motion to adopt
So
or
moved.
reject?
Motion.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes.
Councilperson Postelnick?
Yes.
And now we move on to appointments. I'm appointing to Board of Health Tracy Canjano, Community Food Pantry Will Winfrey, Universal Access Chris Woodard from the BOE, he's a Board of Education representative, Community Emergency Response Team Jason Culver, Police Department Representative Guy Colombo, Police Department Representative, Council on Aging Romana Rojas, Leah Guzman, Ash Shook, D. Donnelly, Historical Commission, Jeremy Gross, Daniel Beetham, Grisa Strola, Tom Glenn, Michelle Picopi, and Andrea J. Han, and Neil Frine. Human Relations Commission, Sarah Ferreira, Lucinda Holt, for Human Relations Commission, Sarah Ferreira and Lucinda Holt and Diane Ray will be going to the Rent Leveling Board.
Yes.
Okay, Safe Walking and Cycling Committee, Ellie Levine Goldberg, Highland Park Volunteer Fire Department, Edward Mija. Oh, okay, that's it.
Yep.
And then Highland Park Fire Department, Edward Mija, motion to confirm.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Yes, I just have a question. So are we now accepting
Yes.
for the Rent Leveling Board? And so we'll post, like, I guess, what position, because wasn't it had to be a landlord, it had to be...
It's 3 and 3, so we need one landlord, one tenant, and one renter. But we have 3 that will sit, and we need 3 alternate in the same order.
Okay, so now it's opening. Okay, yeah, yes.
Councilperson Postelnick.
Yes.
Appointment of the following. Mayor's appointment for the following: Environmental Commission, Laura Kornfeld, Steve Barnes, Michael Rosenberg. Planning Board, Stephen Eldorf. Yes.
Mayor, can I have a point of clarification? And Stephen, on the planning board, is that an alternate or is that a new member? I just
I believe
wasn't
it's
sure.
an alternate.
It's an alternate.
It's an alternate. Thank you.
Oh, we need no confirmation. Okay. Okay, that's my, so now we're going to go to the second public participation. It is now time for the second public discussion. Each speaker has 3 minutes, but may speak on any topic. The borough will monitor the time and will offer a 30-second warning when indicate the 3 minutes have lapsed. This session will wrap up by 9 p.m. The borough clerk will monitor the time and indicate when the 3 minutes has lapsed. She will give you a warning when you have 30 seconds remaining. There will be a hard stop at the 3-minute mark to ensure that each person has time to speak. As a reminder, I may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement if it does not adhere to the 3 minutes, or if the statement is disruptive to the orderly conduct of the public meeting, is repetitive, or is not on topic of relevance to the borough governing body. Please announce your name and address for the record and speak into the microphone if you come up to speak.
Yes, good evening, Council and Mayor. Charlie Cradaville. I'm a resident of New Brunswick, and the opinions I'm going to express are my own, but I'm going to ask some questions as the editor of New Brunswick Today, a community news outlet. Wanted to just start by saying congratulations and best of luck to the new member of the council. And I wanted to revisit some comments that were made on the night of January 24th. Specifically, Mr. Schmierer, the borough attorney, stated, quote, "Tonight, hopefully a mayor will be selected." And he went on to say that the reason he used the word hopefully is he said, if we don't have a mayor appointed by January 30th, a special election will have to be held. Quote, "And we would hope to avoid that." And so I wanted to ask respectfully, what's so bad about having an election? Why did you try to avoid it?
Well, my comment was really designed to address the last special election we had, which cost $21,000. And these are appointments that would carry only through the end of the year anyway. So as a practical matter, we were hopeful that the council would do, as they did, select a mayor and avoid that expense for the taxpayer.
Right. So when you talk about the last special election, you mean the unnecessary one that was held because of errors made by the borough and the county. Just to be clear, we're talking about the one that wasn't necessary on April 20th, 2021, which you're correct, cost the borough nearly $21,000. That's the one we're talking about.
Well, the way you characterize it is something we don't agree with, but that's the election we're talking about, correct?
Right, and the borough did pay, right? The borough paid the money.
We have no idea whether the borough paid or didn't. I'm the lawyer, I'm not the finance director.
Okay. Madam Mayor, can you find out, did the borough pay?
I don't have that information available at this time, but you can call the finance office and ask.
Okay, who should I speak to?
A borough administrator?
You can reach out to me.
Okay, I'll reach out to the borough administrator. I'm just concerned because this is really rich coming from the folks who made a mistake and had to hold an extra election because you neglected to place the election on the general election ballot. The same folks are now saying we can't have another special election because it's costly. And I just wanted to ask, who made that decision that was what was in the best interest of the voters? Because the law allows two options. When there's a council vacancy, there's no option. But when there's a mayor vacancy, the legislators, in their infinite wisdom, decided that the borough council can appoint someone recommended by the party of the prior mayor, or they can take no action and let the voters choose the mayor. And if you ask me, $21,000 is between $1 and $2 per resident. Is that not worth worth having an elected mayor as opposed to an unelected mayor? Why was that the stated mission, to avoid an election? It just doesn't, as somebody who cares about democracy, I don't like that kind of talk. We need to avoid an election. That's not right, especially considering what was done with the Democratic Party canceling the 2021 elections. I know, Mayor, we've spoken about this and your role in it, and you haven't owned up to your role in it. So I'm asking you to own up to your role in it, apologize for it, and resign.
Thank you so much for your comments. Okay. Any additional speakers? Seeing that there is none, Council, would you like to go for a 5-minute recess? Or we can just go, to work session, and we have no formal action to be taken. And we have, do we have anything for executive session? No, we don't. So we're going to move for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.